welcome, everybody. This is not your regular uh, version of a podcast about movies. This is a special episode where I feel like it's just time to reveal my top 25 movies that I just love watching. But I'm not alone. Brian has decided to join me as I unveil this and kind of give his thoughts as well. Brian, how's it going?
It's very good. Yeah, here to know your top 25 and see how see what they are.
Yeah, I've talked about some of these before. So, we've done tournament fights, and we've all
Yep.
done I-64s, R-128s, and stuff like that. So I've talked about these movies before, just not in this specific order. I think my number one, I've mentioned that quite a few
Yeah,
times,
lots
but
of times.
we'll not reveal it yet, just for anybody watching who might be new. But people who know me, like they know some of my favorites, but some of these other ones they might surprise some people. We'll see. The way it's going to work is, yeah, we'll just I do have some honorable mentions, aka 26 through 30. But then, yeah, I'll just kind of reveal the list one by one. If other people decide to show up, then they'll jump in. But we'll just kind of talk about these movies, and uh, yeah, that's kind of the show today. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and I will reveal the honorable mentions. Some of these, a couple of these used to be in my top 10 actually, so they've fallen quite a bit, but I still like really love these movies. I've just over the years have seen more movies, so things change. But some of the honorable mentions are Lord of the Rings. I do include them as the trilogy because I think it is one complete story. So I kind of just lump them all together. If I had to pick a favorite part, I guess I would go with Two Towers. Although Return of the King, I really enjoy as well. Although those like six endings kind of, it is what it is. But yeah, I really love Lord of the Rings. The Dark Knight used to be in the top 10. It's fallen a little bit, but I still think it's a great superhero movie. Christopher Nolan's direction, Christian Bale, Heath Ledger's Joker is incredible. The Truman Show is one that I would have come to very recently within the last couple of years, but it is really it's my favorite Jim Carrey movie. I think he is incredible in this movie. Him, Ed Harris, and it's always fun when Paul Giamatti shows up. The Social Network. This is actually one that actually won my
Your new favorite
128.
film.
It was the champion. Yeah. So it's gone up a little bit since then. It was like number 41 or something, and now it's in that 26 to 30 range. I think this movie is incredible. I think the script is fantastic. I think the performances are great. I still think it's like Andrew Garfield's best. I go back and forth between this and Hacksaw Ridge on which performance I
Yeah,
like
I can see
better
that.
from him. But yeah, he is, and Justin Timberlake is really good in this too. Like you could have nominated anybody from this movie, and I would have said, yeah, I get it.
I agree with that.
And then Logan, our friend, the movie hero
Yep,
himself, Gordon
his favorite
Anderson, his
movie.
favorite movie of all time. Used to be in my top 10 as well. I think it's incredible. Hugh Jackman is one of my favorite actors, and I think this, between this and another movie that's on my actual 25, I go back and forth on which one I think is his best performance, but I think he's really solid in this as well. Patrick Stewart is incredible. The fact that neither of them got an acting nomination just shows the Academy's bias against superhero movies for the most part.
Exactly.
But it is what it is. I think they're starting to get a little more love. So who knows? And then just another one. I didn't add it, but I'm pretty sure it will soon be in the top 30 at least, maybe even higher. Is Across the Spider Verse. I absolutely love
I I,
that
sh-
movie.
I agree with that.
Absolutely love that movie. I like I said when I first saw it, I came out thinking, did I just watch my favorite movie of all time? Went back and saw it the second time, still said the same thing. And I know it's on physical media now, and as soon as I pick it up, I will rewatch it, and we'll see. We'll see. So maybe that third viewing will either solidify it, or maybe things have tempered a little bit. But Brian, what are your thoughts on these movies as before we get into the actual list?
Yeah, not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan, but I do. They're good movies. Dark Knight is one of the best comic movies of the 2000s. Truman Show was the first watch for me this year. I really enjoyed it a lot. Social Network, I agree. It's one of the best fiction movies, in my opinion. One of the best movies of 2010s, and slowly it's in my 120, I believe, the Social Network. And Logan, I would say my third favorite X-Men film.
Okay, yeah, I can say it's my favorite. There's no other X-Men movies on my list, so I will spoil that. But there's another Hugh Jackman movie, so I'll let you guys think about what that might be. But yeah, we'll excuse me, just ate breakfast not too long ago too, so got the burps. But we'll go ahead and we'll get into the actual list. So coming in at number 25, we have Hugo, starring Asa Butterfield as the titular Hugo. Also Ben Kingsley, Chloe Grace Moretz, uh, a number of other people. Really, really good cast here. Um, I came to this movie fairly recently as well, within the last few years, and I absolutely loved it. I thought the performances were just fantastic. It's a movie that you're not used to seeing from Martin Scorsese, but I think he directed this movie really well. I kind of love the sort of a ode to the first sort of filmmaking that we see in the movie. I think Sacha Baron Cohen is so much fun in this movie as kind of the train security or whatever. I love the setting for this movie too, like the train. The train station. I think it's a really cool setting. I think what I love about this movie is that it's something different from Scorsese. It's not your usual mob movie or a movie where the F word is being dropped every sixth word. And it's more of a family movie, and I think it's really really good, and it kind of stuck with me after that first initial viewing, and I've seen it a couple times since, and those thoughts are the same. I think yeah, the love letter to early filmmaking really stands out, and I think this is just a really really well made, really well acted. The script is really good as well. I just think yeah, it's a really solid movie and one that I've enjoyed revisiting over the last few years. Brian, what do you think about Hugo?
Hugo is actually pretty underrated for Scorsese. People don't really think it's filmed by Scorsese. They think it's like a different director when they think of Hugo. It's a very well visually studied film with the whole robots they use in the film. Sacha Baron Cohen played good in this film, but one of the best films. I'll play a character like Borat or those like comedic characters he plays. It's pretty well enjoyable too. So I agree with Hugo on this one.
Yeah, Hugo at number 25. So we get into number 24, which is my favorite Harry Potter movie, and that is the Prisoner of Azkaban, coming in here at number 24. I think this is really where I think where the series took a turn. The first two movies, while they're good, I do enjoy the entire series. I think the entire series is good. I think the first two are really more geared towards kids. They're more
Yeah,
kid friendly,
I can
and
see
this
that.
one, yeah, and this one it kind of took a more of a darker turn with the direction of Alfonso Cuarón, who this is his only movie in the franchise. But I think what he was able to get out of the kids is was really good. This is where we saw the introduction of Professor Lupin and Sirius Black. Um, First time we see Peter Pettigrew on screen, like not in
Yep.
rat form. So it's kind of like where the series kind of started going. Like the first two were really good, like setup, I guess. The first one kind of introduced who Harry was
Yeah.
and this magical world. Second one, we kind of got to know these characters a little bit more. But this one, I feel like we just kind of into like who these characters are
Yes.
and like more of Harry's backstory, like who Sirius is, and just these characters that are going to play vital parts going forward in the series, even though I had read the books like before the movies came out, well, as the movies were coming out, because I'm pretty sure the seventh book wasn't released until after some of these movies were made. But um, I'm pretty sure I read the book before the movie. So yeah, yeah, Gary Oldman as Sirius Black, I think, is really good. The guy who plays Luke, I can never remember his name. Yes, it's the last name that trips me up. But yeah, he's really good. Timothy Spall, I think, is an underrated actor that people don't talk about enough.
Yes, I
love
agree.
him. Love him in this movie and another movie that will come up later on the list. I think he's really good. Alan, the usual characters, Daniel Radcliffe. I think this is where they really came into their own as actors too. Like you could tell, like they kind of grew as actors in this movie, and they gave really good performances. I think Emma Watson is the standout in this movie. Absolutely, I think she is so good. It's between this and Deathly Hallows, like part 1 and 2. Like for me, like which performance is better for her? I think she's grown as an actress throughout the series. I think this is where it started. Same with Rupert Grint and Daniel Radcliffe. I think they were really good. And yeah, it's just more of a darker tone, and that I really like. I don't think we get that in the rest of the series either. I think this is like the darkest of the movies. The rest of the series has dark moments, but I think this is really, like as a whole, the darkest. So, Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban is at number 24, my favorite Harry Potter movie. Ryan, is this your favorite Harry Potter movie?
Actually,
oh, okay. So what are your thoughts on
the first Harry Potter film I've seen as well ever? I started with this one. I love the addition of Michael Gambon as Dumbledore. He was a pretty good replacement for Richard Harris. Love the opening with the Anne March sequence, like him blowing her up like a big balloon. That sequence is a lot of fun, especially with the shrunken head. You get the first appearance of Dementors, I believe, in the series as well. Love seeing Emma Thompson pop up as Trelawney. Hagrid has a big role in this film as the Care Magical Creatures, and with the addition of Buckbeak.
Yeah, just a lot of good characters introduced that would play vital parts going forward. So, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban at number 24, which will lead us into number 23 movie. Again, another one that I came to fairly recently, within the last. Actually, this one was in the last year, and the fact that it made it this high surprises even myself. That is 1986. That's The Fly.
Ooh, okay.
The Fly. I really was blown away the first time I watched this movie. Watched it for an episode of a podcast about movies. Austin and I were doing. I think it was a blind spot sort of episode. And so this was one that I decided to watch, and I was just completely blown away by Jeff Goldblum's performance. I thought he was incredible. He starts out as this sort of regular guy, and then he's doing this experiment, gets crossed over with a fly, and starts transforming into this sort of monster. Co-star Gina Davis, who's sort of a newspaper reporter, I believe, and they sort of develop this relationship, and they're really good together. Their chemistry is so good. I think what blew me away about this movie is the practical effects and kind of watching some of the behind the scenes afterwards, and then moving into watching it for a second time. Like it just kind of solidified that this movie is incredible. I'm not much of a horror guy, so for me to say a horror movie kind of blew me away. Like it kind of takes a lot. So The Fly is one of those. Jeff Goldblum, Gina Davis, they are fantastic. The creature design, once he starts getting deeper into like the sort of the fly ish thing, is really good. There's moments that are just like, whoa. Gina Davis gets pregnant and she's worried. The spoilers if you haven't seen this 37 movie. It's really good. So I won't go into like too many more because you haven't seen it, but it's really good. It's like I said, I've seen it twice and it's already at number 23. I think it's incredible. I would highly recommend it, Brian, if you haven't seen it.
I will.
It is streaming, I believe, on Max. So if you have Max,
I don't have Master Canada, so
wow, I don't know where else it's not streaming anywhere else right now. Yeah, that's kind of the only place. So find some means to watch it, and you will not be disappointed. So yeah, no, that's number 23. Um, at number 22, I'm pretty sure you've seen this one. Everyone's seen this one. This is one that I've talked about a lot. That is the original
yes.
1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie that was number one in America the day I was born. Of course, April 11th, 1990. For anyone who wants to steal my identity, good luck. I don't have much. But yeah, no, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is just one of those movies that I grew up with. It's definitely more of a nostalgia pick. The more I rewatch, it's like, yeah, some of it's cheesy, some of it's not great, but at its core, it's still a really good, solid sort of comedy action movie. Um, I think the Turtles are great. I think it's a real good like message of brotherhood as well, and like what a family can do when they need to. I think Splinter is one of the best like movie mentors slash teachers slash fathers. I think just him as
I
a
agree with
character is
that.
really good. We did top 12 movie teachers, and he made the list, which I would have fought hard if he didn't. So I'm glad he did. But yeah, no, this is definitely more of a nostalgia pick. I would still rewatch this like several times a year. I absolutely love it. It's one that I can just turn on in the background, and it's one that I've seen so many times that if I get distracted for 10 minutes, I can come back and I still I know what's happened in the last 10 minutes. Um, you know, Elias Koteas is as Casey Jones is really fun. April, I don't like the recasting. I thought they should. I kind of wish they would have stuck with the original April, but it is what it is. And then I think it's just a lot of fun. I think the action, the choreography, that big fight scene before they have to go hide out for a while is really solid. It's still like one of my favorite action like fight scenes in movies. But no, the nostalgia pick all the way here. I absolutely love this movie. It's a one that I grew up with. It's a childhood favorite. Brian, what do you think about the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
This is a lot of fun. Love the whole puppet work they used for the film for the suits done by I believe Henson Company did it. If I'm not mistaken. But it's a lot of fun. There, I was to say my second favorite Ninja film probably first was out. Secret News being my favorite. But it's a lot of fun. It's glad well tournament as well for all tournament fights.
Yeah, finally won one. So number 22, 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Number 21 is one that I think is, in my opinion, the greatest movie ever made. I think obviously there's a difference between favorites and best when you're picking your favorites. You're not just picking based on the quality of the movie, obviously. But this one I think is the best movie ever made, in my humble opinion, and that is Schindler's List. I think Schindler's List is a masterpiece. I think the filmmaking is incredible. I think the performances are incredible. Liam Neeson, Ray Fiennes, a number of other people, I think are just incredible. And it's an important movie too. It's a hard movie to watch. I've only seen it, maybe 3 or 4 times. But every time I do, I am blown away. I first saw it in school because
Same.
that's what we do in America. We watch movies to learn. But yeah, no, the filmmaking. 1993 was a good year for Spielberg. He had this and Jurassic Park in the same year, and he produced We're Back, a Dinosaur Story, which we'll be talking about later on the podcast about movies as we cover the 90s. But that we're getting ahead. It's a hard movie to watch, but I think it's an important watch. I think everybody should watch this at least once. It's one of those movies that I will recommend everybody watch at least one time. Brian, what are your thoughts on Schindler's List?
Yeah, it's Spielberg's masterpiece. His best movie he's ever done ever. Not the whole aspect for black and white to depict the Holocaust situation. Liam Neeson should have won the Oscar in my opinion that year. I'm not sure who. I don't remember who won that year, but he should have won. If he didn't, he should have. Not the whole sequence with the golden red coat and the only sequence in color. And yes, it's a very hard watch. I see it like 3 times.
Best actor was Tom Hanks for Philadelphia.
Okay.
So I haven't seen Philadelphia, but I've heard good
Same.
things about his performance. So, you know, I will hold judgment until I see Philadelphia for sure. But yeah, Liam Neeson, I'm pretty sure he was
Nominated, I believe.
nominated. Because Schindler's List was, it won 7 awards. It was nominated for 12. So, um, yeah, Schindler's List, it won Best Picture, Best Director. Yeah, Liam Neeson
Sure.
lost. Yeah, Liam Neeson lost out on Best Actor to Tom Hanks. You know, Ray Fiennes lost out on Best Supporting to Tommy Lee Jones from The Fugitive, which is another movie we'll be covering on a podcast about movies later today. But it won Best Screenplay based on, well, they called it Best.
Adapted.
It's what we know today as Best Adapted. Yeah.
Okay.
It also won Original Score for John Williams. It won Art Direction. It won Cinematography, Editing. So yeah, it won a number of awards and well deserved.
Yes.
Number 21 on my list, Schindler's List. Number 20, if you want to watch a specific movie from a genre mixed with every other genre, this is the movie to do it with. The Princess Bride. This movie, if you want an action, comedy, romance, fantasy with a wrestler, The Princess Bride is the movie to do it with. I love the fact that it's basically just a grandpa reading a story to a kid, but we get to see that story. I think Carrie Elwes is really good in this movie. Wallace Shawn is incredible. I wish he was in the movie a little bit more. Andre the Giant is fantastic. I think I need to see it. If he's done more movies, I need to see them because yeah, this one was really good. I think he's a lot of fun. The story, it's just a lot of fun. Like I know people who don't like this movie, and I'm like, what don't you like about it? Because I can't think of anything in this movie not to like. Like I'm not gonna call it.
Film.
Yeah, well, I don't know what I'd call it perfect, but it's like I don't find anything wrong with it. But it's like I'm one of those who's like I don't think there's a perfect film. But I guess if you twist my arm, I'm not gonna argue with it. If you call this a perfect film, it is really good. Brian, what do you think about The Princess Bride?
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Peter Falk as the grandfather, who Clubber himself, in the film. Young Fred Savage as the grandson. It's good casting for that. Kenny Elway's lot of fun as Wesley. Robin Wright, Billy Crystal as Miracle Max. I thought Star of the Palace. A lot of fun. Some great character actors pop up. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So number 20 is The Princess Bride, kicking off the top 20. So number 19, we're going back to my childhood, but still one that I think this is an important movie in animation history. We're talking about the original Toy Story, the second movie, I believe, that I remember seeing in theaters. Uh, I think we've all wondered as a kid, not as an adult, because we grow and mature, obviously. But it's a movie that we probably all did as a kid, we all imagined what our toys would be like if they were alive, or we played with them the way Andy played with them. Um, I love the characters of Woody and Buzz. They kind of start, as sort of a, they
Rivals.
start butting heads. They're not friends, but they develop a friendship over the course of the movie. And the movie's only like 80 minutes. It's got a
Go by fast.
it's got a nice runtime, but it tells its story, and it tells what it needs to. It doesn't like dwell on things too much. It doesn't extend things longer than they need to. It tells its story. It does it right. Um, we see that friendship grow between Woody and Buzz, as we see in the next couple movies, and a little bit in the fourth one as well. Even though they're kind of separated for most of the movie. Excuse me. But I know this one started off first. Sort of a computer animated movie that I remember seeing, and I think it did well. It's an important movie. I can only wonder, like, if Toy Story wasn't successful, what would Pixar look like today? Would there be a Pixar today? It's hard to tell, because I'm not sure if A Bug's Life would have been that saving grace if Toy Story failed. And you could say the same for Toy Story 2, maybe making the decision to release that in theaters instead of direct to
Video.
video. Yeah, but Toy Story, I think this is the one that started it all. Great voice performances from Tim Allen, Tom Hanks, Jim Varney's in there, John Ratzenberger, who's I'm pretty sure in every movie up to
I think Soul.
Soul, I believe is the last one. So yeah, no, just a lot of fun. Sid, I don't really think of Sid as a villain. He's just sort of a kid. I'm not gonna call the kid a villain. He's just a kid who's left at home
Misunderstood.
with lots of toys, and he's just kind of is what it is. In the toys' eyes, sure, he's a villain, but I don't consider him that way. I just think he's a messed up kid who likes to torture toys and whatever. But I really enjoy Toy Story. It's one that I can rewatch any day of the week. Brian, what do you think about? I know you're an animation fan, so what do you think
Yes.
about Toy Story?
I mean, this is the second back-to-back film you have for Wally Shaw with Princess Bride before. Now it's Toy Story. There you go. Toy Story is the definition, the creation of Pixar as the Chase Cinema as we saw on record when they did the film that Chase Cinema. Pixar was one of them for Toy Story. Yeah, great music by Ray Newman. Great song. We got Me, the theme for Toy Story franchise. Not my favorite Toy Story. Toy Story is my favorite, but this is my number three for me for ranking Toy Story.
All right. So yeah, number 19 is Toy Story. At number 18, this is the Hugh Jackman film I was alluding to earlier. It is Prisoners, co-starring Jake Gyllenhaal as well. I think this movie is just it's another one that it's kind of hard to watch at moments, but I think the story overall is very intriguing. I think the performance from Hugh Jackman is just top notch, next level. I think he is incredible. I think this might be his best performance for me, in my opinion. Um, you know, I think Jake Gyllenhaal as Detective Loki is really good too, and we kind of focus on him a little bit more, towards the later portion of the movie. But it's more about Hugh Jackman trying to find his daughter who went missing, and they think that this guy Paul Dano, his character, and they decide to they kind of kidnap him and trap him, and he sort of starts torturing them. It's not just him; it's another couple, played by Terrence Howard and Viola Davis, um, who they want their daughter back too, but they're not kind of going to the extreme that Hugh Jackman's character is. Um, it's also another kind of an early performance from Dylan Minnette as well, who plays the brother. I think he's really good in this movie. I think the story is intriguing, kind of going like, trying to find these daughters and kind of this mystery aspect. I think is really cool. I think Jake Gyllenhaal towards the end, like it starts, like his performance just gets better as the movie goes on, um, and it's got one of those endings that it's like you get to decide, like what happened. It's one of those movies. It's like, well, there's no definitive ending. Like what's going on? I need to know, and it's kind of like you can make up your own ending. And I think for some movies it works, some movies it doesn't. I think for this one, it does. I think Prisoners is well acted. I think the script is really good. I think it's well paced. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I believe it's just over 2 hours. I think, but it doesn't feel like that. I think it moves at a really good pace. So number 18 is Prisoners. Brian, what do you think about Prisoners?
Yeah, Prisoners is what I've seen once. I remember enjoying it a lot, but it's uh, by Denis Villeneuve, right? Who directed it, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah, I really enjoyed his take on this film. It's been a while since I've seen it. I may have to do a rewatch to see if I enjoy it much more.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend a rewatch. I love this movie. It's so good. Which is why it is at number 18. Um, Number 17 is my favorite sports movie, and it's not the sports movie I think people will think of. A lot of people don't have this as their favorite, especially in the more of the combat sports world. But my number 17 is Warrior, with Tom Hardy and Joel Edgerton, and also Nick Nolte as the dad. I think this is a really good, uh, not only sports drama, but like sports movie, but I think the drama aspect as well. Um, these two brothers who are kind of estranged from each other, and they come together because of this MMA tournament. Um, you know, Tom Hardy kind of goes and enters on his sort of on his own. Um, Joel Edgerton kind of trains, and you know, um, his dad kind of helps him, and with the help of, I believe it's I think it's John Bernthal. I could be wrong on that.
I
Um,
believe so.
they kind of
Uh, for
with
Tom Hardy was Nick Nolte's father.
yeah, Nick Nolte was helping Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're kind of all estranged. Frank Grillo, not John Bernthal.
that's it.
Frank,
Okay.
Frank Grillo. I get those two confused sometimes. Forgive me. Um, but yeah, no, the Joel Edgerton, they kind of, he gets suspended from work because of the fighting. He's a teacher, um, but then the students are kind of all behind him, which I think is cool. Um, I think it's a really good story about family, and kind of I think it's a good depiction of, sometimes families do fall apart, and it's for good reason. I think the fight scenes are really good. And of course, it's another movie to feature a pro wrestler in Kurt
For
Angle.
Angle.
So, anytime I can include a pro wrestler, which is another love of mine, I will do it. I think that might be the last one on the list, though. Well, I'll have to. Oh no, there's one more. Um, but um, no, I think Warrior is fantastic. It's my favorite sports movie. I'll go toe to toe with anyone on this over any other combat sports movie, wrestling, MMA, boxing, whatever it is. Um, for me, this is the top. I think the performances are fantastic. I think Nick Nolte is the standout for me.
He
Actually,
was
I think he's
nominated for the
incredible.
Oscar, I
Yeah, I
believe.
think he's incredible as the dad. So yeah, no, number 17 is Warrior. Brian, what do you think about Warrior?
Yeah, Gavin Carter was really good at doing these sports films. Like, got this one, you got The Way Back, you got Miracle with Kurt Russell. He's good at doing these sports movies. And Warrior was actually a first time watch for me this year. I never saw it till this year. I really enjoyed it a lot. They're good. As you said, Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton, Grant, the two leads should have been nominated that year for the Oscar. They're that good, and yes, I really enjoyed this film a lot.
All right. Yeah. So number 17 is Warrior. Number 16 is a movie I think is just like my favorite, just straight up comedy of all time. I absolutely love Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I think this movie is endlessly quotable. The sort of search for the Holy Grail, the way that everyone's coming together. I think those are all a lot of fun. Um, I yeah, I just love this movie. I can watch it. I think it's one of the more rewatchable movies. I think the laughs are still there every single time. I've watched this movie at least a dozen times, and I still laugh as much now as I did the first time I watched it. I actually watched this in school for the first time. We were doing a um, King Arthur portion in an English class, and the teacher decided to watch this, and I'm like, absolutely, I'm on board with it because again, in America, we watch movies to learn. It's a thing. So yeah, no, really really fun, quotable. I still use quotes from this to this day. I just yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. Just a really funny, quotable, fun time. So Brian, what do you think about Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
I enjoy Holy Grail, not my favorite Monty Python film. My favorite Monty Python life for me, for Monty Python films. So yeah, not the biggest fan of Holy Grail, like Austin.
That's okay. We're all allowed to be wrong every once in a while. Um, Number 15, believe the first musical on the list. I like musicals. Another one that used to be in the top 10, just that's dropped down just a little bit as I've been reworking the list, but that is the classic Singing in the Rain, coming in at number 15. Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor, Debbie Reynolds. I think they're all really fun together. I think the music is incredible. Again, it's another movie about movies.
Yep.
Kind of transitioning from the silent film to the talkies as they call them. Um, I love the beginning of this movie where it's kind of the backstory of how Gene Kelly and I can't remember the other actress, but how they kind of came to
Debbie
be.
Reynolds.
No, not Debbie Reynolds. It's the one who they're trying to replace.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, I'm drawing the blank right now. I should have come prepared. Oh well. Kind of how they came together. I really enjoyed that. I think again, I think there's a lot of humor in this as well. I think this
Gene
movie
Hagen.
actually,
That's it.
yeah, probably. I think there's a lot of good humor in this movie. Some of the songs are funny, but the choreography is really good. The music is really good. That singing in the rain um, sequence
Sequence.
it's a classic. But even more so, once they decide to like change the movie that they were doing to a musical, I love that sort of sequence that for some it goes on too long, but I'm just in it the whole time. I don't think it goes on too long at all for me personally, but that's probably I'm a musical guy. If you're not a musical guy, you're not going to enjoy it as much, and I totally get that. Um, but yeah, again, I love this movie again. Uh, Incredible performances from all three that were featured on that poster. Brian, what do you think about Singing in the Rain?
Yes, this is one of my favorite musicals. Love the songs, "Sing the Rain," "Good Morning," make you laugh. Dollar Connor's whole one take sequence for the make you laugh sequence, one of the best sequences in film history, in my opinion. It goes by pretty quickly. It doesn't seem like it goes by. It doesn't feel
Yeah,
like it goes too long. It feels very quick.
I think it's only like an hour 45. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, number 15 is Singing in the Rain. Number 14, another more recent movie, released in 2018. I thought this movie was incredible. We're going to talk about Blind Spotting.
Yes.
I loved this movie. I thought David Diggs, Raphael Casal were incredible together. I love their performances. Um, it's a movie about David Diggs' character just kind of trying to make it to when he's not on probation anymore and just trying to survive those last few days. And it doesn't hit that trope of he tries to make it, but something happened and he didn't quite make it. No, he actually does make it, which I appreciate. I love the friendship between David Diggs and Rafael Casal. I think that's a genuine friendship, and I think it's portrayed really well. Um, I think for me the standout is sort of the end of this movie. That final rap scene is incredible. I think just the emotion he's able to display, and the cop the whole time he's no words, no dialogue, but you can see just from his facial expressions. I think that's an underrated aspect of the scene is his performance, and the fear and sort of just emotion he's displaying. I think is really good. Um, yeah, that's like just one of my favorite scenes in movies. Period. Is that scene? I think there's some really good moments, between David Diggs and Rafael Casal, kind of having a fallout, but then you know having that sort of making up at the end. I think, yeah, again, a genuine friendship there. One that I could actually see, being a real friendship in real life. The script is really good. There's moments that make me go whoa. And anytime a movie does that, I think it's doing a good job. So Blind Spotting is my number 14. Brian, what do you think about Blind Spotting?
Flying Squad deserves a lot more love. It's for me very underrated that year, 2018. But a lot of good films came out that year, so yeah. And even though I look into they have a TV show out. This is very good. The Blind Spot. If you saw it, it's
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good
so
things.
good. So it's like a sort of spin-off / sequel to the film.
Yeah. So um, they also put out like a pretty cool soundtrack. Well, it's not really a soundtrack, but it's like um a complimentary album to this, which is really good.
Okay.
But yeah, no, that was number 14. So moving into number 13, the first actual superhero movie on my list.
Ooh.
This used to be my second favorite MCU movie, but after a recent rewatch, it has moved up to be my favorite, and it's just moved up on my personal favorite movies list overall. That is Infinity War. I think Infinity War is the MCU's best right now. Um, so number 13, I think, yeah, just the start of this movie, I think it just hits you and it doesn't let up. It just keeps going. Um, and what I love is that this is Thanos' movie. It's not a movie. You might as well have called this Thanos Infinity War, and it's the same thing. But you know, um, yeah, finally seeing all these characters on, well, not all of them together. We wouldn't get that till Endgame, but seeing kind of these pairings that we wanted to see. Seeing
Different
Doctor
scenes.
Strange and Iron Man together with Spider Man, seeing the Guardians and Thor together was really fun. Seeing Hulk back, or not Hulk. We only see him for the beginning of the movie, and then he kind of pusses out and doesn't come back. But
Yes.
it is what it is. But seeing him back with Captain America and Black Widow and Falcon, I think,
And Black Panther.
and then eventually Black Panther. I think, yeah, seeing them all together. The emotion is there towards the end. I still feel it every time Spider-Man says, "Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good." I think that is one of my favorite moments in the MCU, as emotional as it is. And one of the other things I appreciate the risk of them letting Thanos win. If Thanos wins, he does what he wanted to accomplish, and it kind of ends. And I remember sitting in the theater saying, surely that's not the end. And then the credits started rolling and it was the end. So obviously we would get Endgame a year later to kind of finish the Infinity Saga. But I think, yeah, the Infinity War is still, I think, the MCU's best. There's some movies that are right there with it. Civil War, No Way Home, Winter Soldier, the first Guardians, I think, are all really good.
Ragnarok.
Yeah, I'm all right. It's like just outside the top 10 of the MCU for me, but I still enjoy it. But I get why people love that movie. I absolutely do. Just for me, it's just a little bit lower. But Infinity War, number 13, Brian. What are your thoughts on Infinity War?
Yeah, this is the top five MCU movie for me. It's about I think my third favorite MCU film out there. I'm more of an Endgame guy, but that's okay. People are saying Endgame or Infinity War guys. Uh, Great direction by Russo brothers for this. Like each of them have a certain amount of time. You get a little, as you mentioned, a little bit of time with different characters. One of my favorite moments in there, the Thor Marvel Wakanda, bring me Thanos as the Avengers team plays. That's my favorite moment for the film, and yes, it's what I agree with the best MCU films.
Absolutely. So number 13 is Avengers Infinity War. We go from one superhero movie right into another. This is my favorite Pixar movie. It is The Incredibles.
Yep.
I think The Incredibles, no pun intended, is incredible. I absolutely love this movie. It's been my favorite Pixar movie since it's been released. Um, I adore this movie. I think this movie handles the superhero genre really well. It handles family really well, and I think it blends the two perfectly. I think we get a villain who you understand why he is the way he is,
Yep.
because as a kid, like he just wanted to help Mr. Incredible, and Mr. Incredible kind of shunned him and kind of blew him off, and because of
Told to go
that,
home.
we got Syndrome, and you kind of understand his backstory. Excuse me. I think the family dynamic is so true, like that scene around the dinner table that happens. I remember having arguments with my siblings. I remember dad kind of trying to be distant, just needing the moment. Mom kind of trying to do everything because somebody's got to keep this family together. I think the superhero aspect though is also really good. I think Frozone is an incredible side character.
Yep.
Jack is so
And the
much fun.
mode.
Edna Mode as no capes. Voiced by the director Brad Bird, which I
Yep.
think is so much fun.
A great trivia fact.
Yeah. Um, I recently had to argue this as the best movie in a franchise from the 2000s, and this was the first choice that came to mind. It wasn't going to be anything other than this because I love this movie. I think it is fantastic. The best Fantastic Four movie that we've gotten. I think the
I agree
voice
with that.
performances are good. The action scenes are good. The animation is beautiful. So, The Incredibles at number 12. It hurt me not being able to put it in my top 10. I wanted to, but these other movies that are above it just
I mean, it's close
edged it
though.
out.
So yeah, Incredibles is a top five Pixar film for me. Great music by Michael Giacchino. The theme is fantastic. Sam Jackson's great at Frozone, honey. Where's my super suit? Where's my super suit? So, uh, great. Well, this is the first Pixar movie they ever done with humans as well. Like previous films are all like animals or insects. This is the first for the humans. We did a pretty good job on it. Brad Bird, perfect choice. Who did Yard Giant, perfect for this film. So yes, it's also it's only close to my top 10 as well.
Yeah. So, number 12, The Incredibles. Number 11, just outside the top 10. This used to be my favorite movie of all time. It has dropped just because I've watched more movies. Number 11 is Sweeney Todd.
There's
Uh,
Tim Burton.
yeah, no, Tim Burton, who is my favorite director. Johnny Depp, who is one of my favorite actors. Another appearance for Alan Rickman and Timothy Spall, who I mentioned earlier in Harry Potter. Um, So yeah, Sweeney Todd. I don't I don't really remember the first time I watched this movie. I think I just kind of turned it on and I was like, oh, that was really good. Then I rewatched it again and was like, oh, that was really good. I love the performance from Johnny Depp, who I believe was nominated
Yes, he
for
was.
best actor for this movie, which was very surprising. Um, I love the setting, kind of the dark tone that we see from Tim Burton. I think it's really cool here. Helena Bonham Carter as Mrs. Lovett is really good. Jamie Campbell Bower as Oh my goodness, Anthony.
I think so.
Wow, I'm drawing a blank on one of my favorite movies. That it's early. No, it's not early. That's not an excuse. But yeah, no, incredible performances. The songs are all really good. Um, I think Sacha Baron Cohen again, another
Another
appearance
one.
from him as Signor Pirelli. I think he's a really fun character for his short time in the movie. I think his song is a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I love the setting. I think once the kills start happening, like I think some of them, yeah, like they're over the top, but I think it works. And then that finale where they're kind of, we see a bunch of deaths start happening. I think is really cool. I love this movie. I haven't seen the Broadway show. I haven't seen the
Same.
play version, but it is a goal of mine to eventually see. So yeah, Sweeney Todd. I've talked about this movie a lot. I love this movie. Just fell right outside the top 10, but still really high on my list. So, Brian, what do you think about Sweeney Todd?
Yeah, Street Talk is a very good 2000s film for Tim Burton. I think when we did the Tim Burton filmography ranking, this was at number one, I believe. A few.
It was up there, yeah.
Yeah, in our top five. It's been a long time since we did it. So the music is great. Perfectly casted for Helen Bonham Carter and Mrs. Lovett. I can't say anyone else player. I think Angela Lansbury played the Broadway show. I don't remember. Johnny Depp, great singing as Sweet Todd. The Pretty Woman sequence is my favorite.
That's a really good one, yeah. Yeah, who knew Johnny Depp could sing?
Exactly.
Um, but they took the risk and it paid off. All right, we are in
The top
to
10.
the top 10, and we are going to kick it off with my, as of right now, favorite Quentin Tarantino movie because I have not seen all of his filmography. Some of them are blind spots, but my favorite, as of right now, is Django Unchained. I think
Okay.
Django Unchained is an incredible movie with some really powerhouse performances. Not only like from everyone that you see that's listed on that poster, I think Jamie Foxx is really good. I think Christoph Waltz is incredible. I think Leonardo DiCaprio might be one of my like favorite movie villains. I think he should have won the Oscar for this. I think this should have been his win. I think there's a number of movies where he could have won. Um, but yeah, no, Samuel L. Jackson is really good. I think the action is good. That scene on the hill where they're with Jonah Hill and I think that move. I think that scene is hilarious. I thought it might feel out of place, but it doesn't. It doesn't feel out of place. I love that moment. Um, I think Jamie Foxx's character, Kerry Washington, is really good. The script is really good. The action, the blood, the gore, like there's a lot of blood in this movie.
Yep.
Um, I yeah, it's not too long of a runtime. I believe it's over 2 hours, but it doesn't feel like it. I think it's very well paced, well acted. It's a movie that goes up every single time I rewatch it. It's just crept its way up into my top 10, and I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to climb the more I rewatch it. Brian, what do you think about Django Unchained?
Yeah, Django is a very good Tim Burton film. Not my it's a not my favorite not my favorite Quentin Tarantino film. My favorite is probably Pulp Fiction, in my opinion, for Tarantino. But there's other films people could say their favorite Tarantino film. Not bad film, not a really bad film out there for Tarantino.
Right.
So people could pick either one. But I enjoy for your pick at number 10.
So, moving on to number 9, I wanted to have a horror movie included in my top 10, and I thought, what better horror movie to include than the one I go back to every year, and I get the same enjoyment out of it every single time. At number 9, it is Halloween
There it is.
from 1978, directed by John Carpenter. The story of Michael Myers, and just sort of the boogeyman and like he like epitomizes fear. I think, Jamie Lee Curtis, kind of breaks out in this movie, and she is incredible as like the sort of scream queen. I think she's really good, but the story, it's another one that it's fairly short, but I think it tells its story. Um, I don't dislike the Rob Zombie remake, but I'm still a little torn on like the backstory of Michael Myers. Like we don't need to know why he is the way he is. I think that's sort of what makes him an intriguing character. Um, so yeah, the kills are really good. The character of Loomis, I think, starting off in this, played by Donald Pleasance, I think he's really
Yep.
good. Um, and yeah, it's a staple every Halloween season. I get the same enjoyment out of it. I think Jamie Lee Curtis again, incredible. I think the kills are really good. Decent child performances in this movie too, which is always a plus because the child performances are always hit and miss.
These were off for that.
Yeah, really, really good in this movie. And yeah, kind of just like for me a perfect horror movie. So, Brian, what do you think about Halloween?
Yeah, it's the most iconic horror film out there for a season. How we like break our role for Jamie Lee Curtis without this whether film we should break out in if it wasn't for Halloween. So Halloween, yes, number 9.
All right. Number 8, another Johnny Depp movie. It's funny. Overtaking Sweeney Todd is my favorite Johnny Depp movie. My favorite Johnny Depp performance. Of course, we're talking about Finding Neverland. I love this movie. Sort of the kind of creation of the story of Peter Pan, and how he kind of came into writing the play. Johnny Depp playing the character, well, the real life person, J.M. Barrie, where he befriends this family with these 3 kids. Um, the standout being Freddie Highmore, who would go on to co-star with him in, I believe, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yep.
So it's not the only time they would work together. Yeah, I think this movie, it starts off as a lot of fun. I think all the imagination sequences where they're playing and using their imagination is a lot of fun. But as we go deeper into the movie, the emotion starts to hit because the mom is sick, and eventually passes, and facing the backlash from the kid's grandma, who's involved as well. But seeing that sort of resolve at the end too. The play itself, when they bring it to the house, that sort of moment, like I still get emotional when I watch it. I think anytime a movie can hit me emotionally, like I'm gonna enjoy it just a little bit more. I think Johnny Depp gives a fantastic performance. Kate Winslet is really good. So I think the script is really good. Dustin Hoffman shows up. It's funny, another Peter Pan movie with Dustin Hoffman, but that's not really about Peter Pan. So I just think that's a fun fact. But yeah, Finding Neverland is my number 8. Brian, what do you think about Finding Neverland?
Yeah, Finding Neverland. That's your first time watching me after that Mission Tournament it was in. I haven't seen it before that, but I see it now. It's pretty darn enjoyable. Very charming as well. Johnny Depp, perfect as J.M. Barrie. I believe he was nominated as well for the Oscar as well that year.
I believe so. Yeah, and then the movie was nominated for Best Picture as well.
Yes, and Mark Forster did a good job directing it. He deserves some more love. Mark Forster, very underrated director.
Yeah. So number 8, Finding Neverland. Number 7. This might be my favorite script. I think just from a dialogue standpoint, I think this movie is incredible. Number 7 is 12 Angry Men. I absolutely love this movie. I was very late to this movie. Just watched it for the first time within the last 5 years, and yeah, the script itself just blew me away. And the fact that I was so captivated by these 12 men just sitting around a table talking, I think just shows just how good this script was. But not only that, but how good the performances were. Mainly Henry Fonda as the main sort of juror here. I think he's incredible. But all the other ones play their part too. Just sort of because they need this consensus vote. It's got to be 12-0. And of course there's this one lone vote against, and it's just kind of going through the case and just talking. But it shows that movies don't have to be like action heavy to be captivating. And I think that for a movie that came out in 1957, to still hold up as one of the best just scripts ever, but just one of the best movies ever. Like, if I were to make a top 10 of what I think could be the best movies made, this would make the list. So, excuse me. I love 12 Angry Men. Brian, what do you think about 12 Angry Men?
Yeah, it's a great one location film. Said the jury is a room for a jury. Great, as you said, best script. Great ensemble as well. They all work together. Each of the cast members, Susan did a great job, and pretty short as well. Realize it's 96 minutes. It'd be that short.
Yeah, and it does it really well. I think this movie is incredible. I'm going to use that word a lot. Number 6, another movie. If you wanted to call it perfect, I'm not gonna argue. Number 6 is Back to the Future.
Yes,
I think everybody and their mother has this movie in somewhere in their top favorites, and for good reason. It's just a lot of fun. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd as a
Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover, yeah, Crispin Glover is really good. The story is a lot of fun, going back to the future and him kind of having to fix this DeLorean to go back to the future, but he's got to help his mom and dad get together, otherwise the world he knows is not going to be there. And it's kind of him going through 1955. I think I love the setting. Yeah, some really good comedy. I don't think it's talked about enough as like how
a great script.
A lot of good humor in this. And yeah, some good moments of tension, especially there at the end when you don't know if they're going to be able to make it back or not. I think it's really good, a lot of fun. If you wanted to call this a perfect movie, I'm not going to argue with you. I love this movie. I think Michael J. Fox, this might still be his best performance for me personally. Christopher Lloyd, a lot of fun. I just still find it a little weird that mom and a son. It is what it is. Brian, what do you think about Back to the Future?
Yeah, this is my 138. I love the show a lot. Great music by Alice Silvestri. Great, one of the best movies. Christopher Lloyd, perfect cast as Doc Brown. What I would say he's a great movie mentor for Mario. Not sure you count the rank of.
We didn't bring him up, but I can see it.
Michael J. Fox perfectly casted. He was, in fact, he was supposed to be Eric Stoltz first. Then they changed to Michael J. Fox afterwards. One of my favorite movies of all time. So yes, Back to the Future deserves number 6.
All right, we get into the top 5. Number 5, my favorite Star Wars movie. It's The Empire Strikes Back, because of course it is. It's the best Star Wars movie. I will fight anyone that says otherwise. No, I'm just kidding. I won't. You can like what you like. But no, I think this is one of the best sequels that we've gotten. Period. I think this is the best Star Wars movie. I think, yeah. The training sequences between Luke and Yoda. The relationship between Han and Leia. Darth Vader, that iconic moment. No, I am your father. Not Luke, I am your father. It's no, I am your father. Get that right. So it's that Mandela
effect.
That Mandela effect again, people. Some good action scenes. I love this stuff I love the opening. I think it's really good. It's just it's one that I can go and I can rewatch it without having to watch any of the other Star Wars movies. I don't need to watch A New Hope to watch this one. I think this one works sort of as a standalone if you needed it to. So, yeah, great performances, great voice performance from James Earl Jones. I think
Frank
he's
Oz.
Frank Oz as Yoda. I think is really good. So yeah, The Empire Strikes Back. It's my favorite Star Wars movie. It's crept up into the top five. It used to be right outside the top 10, but it's crept up the more I rewatch it. I think I'm a Star Wars guy over Star Trek. I am one of those, but yeah, with Empire being my number one from that franchise. So Brad, what do you think about The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back is a great Star Wars film. It's all my favorite. I would say probably New Hope is because it started the whole universe of Star Wars. Um, great, 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 great performances. Great introduction by Lando and Boba Fett in this film as well. Also, the third John Westenberger film you have on your top J5 because he shows up as the people in the Hoth.
It is what it is. Number four, the movie I have probably watched the most ever. Number four is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
Oh
Factory.
yes,
I absolutely love this movie. Again, I cannot tell you how many times I've watched this. I know it's in the triple digits though.
same.
It's one of those movies I watched as a kid. I think Gene Wilder is the perfect casting choice. If I were to make a list of perfect casting choices, Gene Wilder is Willy Wonka is number one. I love how we get to the Chocolate Factory. I think everyone, introducing all these characters, I think is really cool. While focusing on Charlie and his family, even though I think sometimes Grandpa Joe is a bit of a jerk. Oh, you can't get up to work for the last 25 years, but now you can go visit a chocolate factory and let me see if my legs work.
I can sing now.
It is what it is. I think the music is really good. The pure imagination sequence.
Oh yes,
is a lot of fun. The Oompa Loompas,
sequence.
yeah, the Oompa Loompas are really good. Those songs, and kind of how each character goes out is really good. I just recently got the book. I'm going to read it. It's been a while, so I'm going to reread it and see kind of how it matches up. I know the dad's in the book and not in this movie.
He's also Charlie the dad.
Yeah, which is one I appreciate. One aspect of the 2005 version that I appreciate is that they do include the dad. But yeah, no, this one is another nostalgia pick. I absolutely love it. Again, one that I can just turn on any day of the week, and even if I'm distracted, I'll still get my enjoyment out of it. I know you're a big Willy Wonka fan.
That's all time.
So, there you go.
Yep, I love this film so much. I rewatched it a lot. The kid, younger self, watched it from the library a lot. Great music. Love the side characters. The teacher, part of the school with the whole teacher, Mr. Turketide. Some great comedic moments there. The whole Wonkamania over the whole all the chocolates. Each of the kids are portrayed perfectly as for the books. I'm curious of the new Wonka film. See how Timothy Chalamet does as Wonka. Very curious on that.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm looking forward to it, especially Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa.
As director of Paddington too, Paul King.
Yeah, so I'm on board. I know other people aren't, but that's okay. I'm not gonna call any names out. Number three, is Good Will Hunting. I think this movie is just so good. Great script by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Great performance from Robin Williams. It's my favorite performance of his. I think he's incredible. That monologue he gives is so good.
Yep.
And just kind of, the relationship that he and Matt Damon build, Will Hunting, and then Sean McGuire. I think their relationship is really good. But so is his with all his friends. With his the girl that he starts getting involved with, played by Minnie Driver. I think this movie is just it's so good. Powerhouse performances all around. Stellan Skarsgård is really good. Casey Affleck is really good.
Yes.
Cole Hauser is in this one. Ben Affleck. Yeah, just everyone playing their part and doing it well. But I think particularly for me, like those scenes between Robin Williams and Matt Damon are just incredible. And that ending, that that son of a bitch, he stole my line, I think is an iconic ending to a movie. Um, yeah, so number three is Good Will Hunting. I absolutely love this movie. It's one that I've only watched a few times, but it's number three, and I don't see it falling. Um, the more I rewatch it, the more I love this movie. Brian, what do you think about Good Will Hunting?
Yeah, Good Will Hunting is very good. Directed by Gus Van Sant. Great director there for this film. Great screenplay. I would say my favorite, perfect script as well for Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. Along with one of the best dramatic performers, I would say, besides Dead Poet Society. Uh, Great performances. I may have to do a little rewatch, see if they'll fit my 1 to 8, see if I do rewatch, it'll probably fit there.
All right, so yeah, number three is Good Will Hunting. Number two is my favorite animated movie of all time. This one's not a secret. It's The Lion King. I absolutely love
Yes.
this movie. This is another childhood favorite. It's a movie that I watched just about every day before going to school when I was living with my grandma. Another one that's full of great voice performances. The animation is beautiful. The music is incredible. The story is really good. Um, what can I say about The Lion King that hasn't been said before? But it's also more of a personal pick as well. The reason it's so high, because there are those memories attached to it. But yeah, no, it's just you know, great characters. Timon and Pumbaa are great side characters. Rafiki is a great like movie mentor, even though he's not in the movie as much as I would like him to be. I think when he does show up, what he has to say is so important that like you listen and you pay attention. Mufasa the same way. Like even though he's the father, like he's such a good dad. He's such a good mentor and teacher as well. So yeah, the Lion King is just it's so good. I love this movie. It's Disney's best. My favorite animated movie. It's so much fun. Brian, what do you think about the Lion King?
Yeah, this is the reason why I won the best animated film tier ranker. Disney's masterpiece of the 90s. Great score by Hans Zimmer. The Circle of Life. Great opening for a Disney film. Great side character, he says. Great villain by Scar. And also, the people don't know about Jim Cummings saying "Be prepared" because Jerry Eyes blew on his voice.
Yeah, one of the most iconic villain songs ever.
That's the reason why it's a two-time winner on Turbo Fights.
Yeah, after not winning, it's for a long time. It finally won,
Yep.
and I was so happy. But yeah, number two is the Lion King, which brings us to number one,
No
and
surprise.
this is the actually it's the first winner when we did my initial 64. This was the winner, and after a few rewatches, it climbed its way up. Number one for me is Mary Poppins.
Yep.
I think this movie is just a lot of fun. I think Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins is really good. Dick Van Dyke is incredible. Um, it's a movie where yeah, sure, Mary Poppins is the nanny to the children, but he's teaching Mr. Banks just as much as she's teaching the children. I
Like
think
a mentor.
I think the lessons in this movie are really good. The songs again are really good. The sequence where they're kind of in the painting is just so much fun. Probably one of like the most fun sequences that I've seen in movies. Highly rewatchable. I think the scene where they're at the guy's house and he can't stop laughing, like
Robert.
all the jokes. I think that's just a lot of fun. Um, there's moments of good humor in this, but there's also that those emotional moments. I think this movie has it all. I think this movie is again, I'm going to use the word incredible. I think this movie is incredible. Yeah, it's climbed up to number one, and it's probably going to stay there for a while. It could easily flip flop between this and The Lion King for me, absolutely. For which one I have at number one, but for right now, it's going to be Mary Poppins. Brian, what do you think about Mary Poppins?
Yeah, I agree with this. This is one of my favorite Disney live action movies ever made. Great. Julie Andrews deserved the Oscar for her role in Mary Poppins. Great song, super Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, Feed the Birds, which is Walt Disney's favorite song as well. He always asked to play this at events. Dick Van Dyke, even though people criticize his accent, did a good job on the role as a side character. Ed Wood's great as Uncle Albert. A beautiful movie, great music. I can't say anything else with that for Mary Poppins.
Yeah, so just to recap the top 25. At 25, I had Hugo. Number 24, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Number 23, The Fly. Number 22, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Number 21, Schindler's List. Number 20, The Princess Bride. Number 19, Toy Story. Number 18, Prisoners. Number 17, Warrior. Number 16, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Number 15, Singing in the Rain. Number 14, Blind Spotting. At number 13 is Avengers Infinity War. Number 12 is The Incredibles. At number 11, Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. At number 10 is Django Unchained. Number 9, Halloween. Number 8, Finding Neverland. Number 7, 12 Angry Men. Number 6, Back to the Future. Number 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Number 4, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Number 3, Good Will Hunting. Number 2, The Lion King. And at number 1, Mary Poppins. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Brian, for joining me as I sort of unveiled my top 25. We'll see if any of them get spun on the wheel for this the monthly mystery tournament that's coming soon. So some of them have already shown up, but we'll see if any of these shown up. I know Sweeney Todd hasn't shown up yet.
I know Willy Wonka showed up as well.
Yeah, but it's only Fisher Sweeney Todd's only on mine and maybe Malcolm's list. So,
yeah.
Before we sign off, do you have anything to plug?
Yeah, you find me on Pearsco. I was on there last night. Well, TVA, the TVA side last night. I do nice on trivia. I appear sometimes. I'll be on tomorrow night for the big free for all happening on this channel, and I'll be on the mystery trip on Tuesday.
All right. So yeah, catch Brian and all the trivia that he does. And then in just a little over a couple hours, a little over 2.5 hours, you can catch me and Austin back here with another episode of a podcast about movies. This time continuing our anniversary series as we cover some 90s movies. We'll be covering from 93. We'll be covering The Fugitive and We're Back, a Dinosaur Story. And then from 1998, we'll be covering The Faculty and Blade. 3 of these being first-time watches for me, and so I'm excited to talk about them. I just finished watching them not too long ago, so fresh in my mind, ready to talk about them again. Like Brian mentioned, the free-for-all tomorrow night. So be ready for that if you're part of it, or if you want to watch it. It should be a good time. And then, you can catch me back. We're still working on a date, but the Lonely Marks will be back next week sometime, doing a big man draft and then covering the October 11th, 1999 episode of Monday Night Raw. Just another random show that we're going to be covering. So that's what's coming up in the immediate future as far as Movie Hero goes. But again, please hit that like button, subscribe, share this if you like movies. If you don't like movies, then share it with somebody you don't like. Well, until then, again, thank you, Brian, for joining me. I've been your host, Jacob Barber, and we will see you next